Dana White and Arman Tsarukyan before the UFC returns next week for its first event on the Paramount platform. Contrary to what was promised, the annual subscription was raised from $60 to $90. That's nothing compared to PPV prices for American fans. Unfortunately, at the Golden Globes event, instead of presenting fighters as talented athletes, Paramount made them look like thugs between celebrities. Last week, Dana White returned from his annual vacation in Fiji and chose to kick off what they call the new year with a short media tour. Of course, he went to platforms where he knew no one would challenge him. Since there was nothing genuinely interesting in those interviews, I will summarize the mindset Dana is starting the year with.
If you don't like it, don't watch it.
First and foremost, he desperately needs to get back on Gary Brecka's program. His stomach seems to get bigger every time we see him. Second, he announced that last year was the biggest year in company history. Obviously, financially, not in terms of fight quality.
So last year was our biggest year ever, 2025.
And now, he's starting the new year with a clean slate.
The slate is wiped clean. Last year means nothing.
Third, there were absolutely no updates on upcoming fights. Whenever he was asked, he dodged the question cleverly, as if the UFC no longer meant much to him.
Fiji, just get back. We haven't done matchmaking. Matchmaking will be Tuesday.
Okay.
And
I know, I'm sorry. I'm asking you these questions right after Fiji.
No,
It's tough.
it's all right. All right.
Fourth, he finally revealed the real reason for his media appearances, announcing the main event of TKO's first boxing card. And where do you think that event will take place? Yes, at the Apex. And who do you think will headline it? None other than Dana's golden boy, Callum Walsh. So the bald man deprived us of fights for 6 weeks just to put Callum Walsh in the Apex. What was laughable was how he kept repeating that his job is to make the best fight the best, regardless of fighting style, which is the complete opposite of what he's been doing lately in the UFC. And with the new Zuffa boxing ad released, it is obvious who this organization revolves around.
So I've been talking smack about boxing for a long time, and now it's time to put my money where my mouth is and to get rid of the sanctioning organizations. The best will fight the best. We're going to sign all the young up-and-coming guys. All I ever think about is the right matchmaking, the right up-and-coming talent. I want to find future world champions. That's what I'm looking for. Who's the best in every weight class?
And finally, the most important reason this episode exists, as we mentioned previously, Arman's headbutt against Dan Hooker played a major role in him not getting a title shot.
Did the headbutt play any factor in the decision to not go with him? It did, right?
A lot of things have factored in, you know. Yes.
And of course, Dana never appears without flattering his master in the White House and talking about the big event on its South Lawn.
Every station except for Fox is saying he's a horrible human being, basically, right? There has to be those days where you wake up and you're just like, you know, what am I doing? Am I doing the right thing and all this stuff? And I think that every time, if he ever felt that way, he would come to a UFC event and he would walk out of that tunnel. And I'm telling you, in all the years that I've been in the fight business, the entertainment, I've never seen anything like it. Our base reacted to Trump.
It was depressing to see that the UFC was the only major sports organization running ICE recruitment ads. When I saw those commercials during UFC 323, I honestly couldn't process what I was seeing.
Join the mission to protect America with bonuses up to $50,000 and generous benefits. Apply now. Join.ice.gov and fulfill your mission.
Maybe if things get bad enough, I'll apply to IEC myself, start chasing illegal immigrants. Since we learned nothing new about the UFC's future from these interviews, it became clear that fans no longer tune in to Dana for updates. That was obvious from the low view counts, especially for the president of the biggest fight promotion in the world. And just last week, he kept us awake until late hours, only to show up and announce fights he himself didn't even sound convinced by.
We'll be back on March 28th to the Climate Pledge Arena. The main event, former middleweight champion Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer. Adesanya, former two-time middleweight champ, 16 of his 24 wins by knockout, and Joe Pyfer is on a 3-fight win streak. And since winning the Contender Series, all but one of his wins have come by finish. Also on the card, we have former champ Alexa Grasso facing Macy Barber.
The last time we talked about Arman, we ended with his fight against Mehdi, where he nearly lost his composure again, and Ilia continued attacks on him despite the family issues Ilia was dealing with.
Arman, desde aquí que te den por el culo.
The following week, Arman returned to his hometown in Armenia for another wrestling match, this time against Shara Bullet. Despite Shara missing his fight and being accused of dodging the match,
Какой-то он странный пират. Не хочет захватывать Армению. Походу он забоялся.
he eventually arrived with his Armenian head coach. It was amusing watching Shara and Arman's brother compete over who had the tougher childhood.
Алюминий воровал у себя на районе, чтобы позволить себе перчатки для тренировок. Ты другой жизнью жил, братан.
They faced off officially despite the size and height difference, and of course the gap in wrestling experience. The next time, despite a rough start, Arman took him down with ease. But couldn't finish him. The match ended in a draw under the rules that marked Arman's second wrestling match since the Dan Hooker fight, and he then headed toward his third bout in Miami, the city where Ilia met his ex-wife.
Why are you saying that?
Huh?
And damn, what a week it was. Entirely centered around the lightweight division. The week started with Paddy talking about a hilarious possible scenario that might happen at lightweight.
If it's not Ilia, I think it'll be even funnier if they do the win when I win, the winner of Max and Charles. Be even funnier, just a big you to Arman.
Then John Anik appeared on Jackson, stating that only a limited number of people, including Arman, Hunter and Dana, truly know what happened on the weigh-in night for UFC 311.
Only Hunter and Dana and a few other select individuals know exactly what happened before UFC 311.
When Justin Gaethje posted his usual training camp content, fans noticed what looked like staph infection on his neck. Justin later denied the rumors, explaining it was just an ingrown hair and that the mark on his lip was bacon. DC, who was in Thailand filming a new season of ALF Global Reality versus John Jones, echoed Anik's claim that Arman knows exactly what he didn't get a title shot, which is why he hasn't publicly lashed out at the UFC.
Because they're telling him something that's making him okay with it, right? Because if he wasn't okay with it, he would be more loud about him not getting his opportunity.
On Wednesday, Ilia won his first court case. Smiling broadly, the judge rejected Georgina's request to leave Spain for Miami with their daughter due to alleged online threats. After 4 months, Ilia was finally able to see his daughter, who Georgina had been keeping from him while flaunting her on social media to provoke him. There's nothing dirtier than using children as tools for revenge. However, Hugo seemed happy with Ilia and his uncle Merab. The same day, Paddy suffered his first loss in the annual Jiu-Jitsu challenge he hosts at his gym, prompting a reaction from Arman.
So he's a trash can in the grappling and the wrestling.
Arman also stated that he is not currently an official backup for UFC 324, but he remains ready.
No, I didn't talk to them, and I wouldn't cut my weight just for money because it's a hard. But if they ask me, I'll do it. But they didn't ask. So if it's happened something, I'll be there. If not, I'll just wait my shot.
In an interview with Paddy, as usual, he mocked Arman and the level of his opponents. But when he tried to downplay Dan Hooker's wrestling, Arman's most recent win, he used the metaphor I can't repeat.
Look, I couldn't grapple the off his ma. You know what I mean?
This led to a heated exchange online between Paddy and Dan. In response to an insult aimed at his mother, Dan mocked Paddy's friend Ricky, who had taken his own life hours before Paddy's fight against Jordan Levitt. Poor Paddy can dish it out, but he definitely can't take it.
I never said a bad word about his mum, but then he goes on and says something about my dead mate, who
can't defend himself.
On Thursday at the RAF 05 press conference, Arman was asked about Dana's comment that the headbutt played a major role in him missing the title shot, and he fully agreed with Dana's decision, which is another sign of how well he understands what's happening to him.
Do you think that's fair?
I think so, yeah. So hopefully today is not gonna be face to face, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be face to face. So
No headbutts today, Arman.
no headbutts today.
No headbutts.
So I learned the lesson. So yeah, it could be because of headbutt and pull out from the title fight, and yeah, so it is what it is.
And in all my years in MMA, I've never seen anyone disrespected the way Bo Nickel has been by Colby and Luke Rockhold.
Didn't you get beat up by a Dutch kickboxer? I forgot. Remember your cardio, you wore out, you got beat up by a Dutch kickboxer, that's right. Hey, how many times did you shower at Happy Valley at the Penn State with Jerry Sandusky? I gotta know. I really gotta know.
That night, Arman appeared on Aiden Ross's stream. Aiden invited that pig who traveled to the US for the first time to join the stream with Arman. Aiden set up a $20,000 bet with his overweight friend and that pig. If they could take Arman down, they'd win the money. If not, Arman would take both sums. Despite the massive size difference, Arman handled both of them with ease.
Single-legged.
Oh my God! Wait. All right. 7. Okay, I'm calling it.
That's enough of it.
Oh, that was so cool. 7, 6, 5, 4.
Honestly, despite my dislike for everything related to Aiden, the stream was extremely entertaining.
You're too rich though, bro. I can't afford that. 5K is what I can afford. That's all I can afford.
Taking this out.
Yeah.
And now, now you're gonna say 15.
What the f? Let me get my yarmulke.
What stood out most was how the narrative about what happened the night before UFC 311 has changed of what feels like the 1000th time, fueling even more questions and conspiracy theories.
So I did the MRI after the fight, and it shows like I don't know how to explain in English, but I have a grisha.
Hernia.
So I have that thing.
Okay.
And I may need surgery, I may not.
Regardless, Arman walked away that night with 40 grand.
Oh, yesterday I made 40K for 1 minute, but just slam a couple fat guys.
We ended the week with a highly controversial weigh-in for RAF 05. RAF is an organization co-founded by Izzy Martinez, a former wrestler and highly experienced wrestling coach, best known for coaching at Jackson Wing in Albuquerque, where John Jones trains. He created the organization hoping to revolutionize wrestling, make it more appealing to the viewers, and promote freestyle wrestling in the US, where folk style dominates schools and colleges. The first time I heard about RAF was during Bo Nickel's first interview about being humiliated by RDR.
Be doing some professional wrestling matches with the Real American Freestyle.
I assumed it was just a platform for Bo to recover from that loss. But honestly, it turned out to be a great platform for promoting wrestling and wrestlers, away from the exhausting atmosphere of official tournaments. I hope we eventually see John and DC compete there. Unfortunately, on weigh-in day for the 5th edition, confusion broke out. The weigh-in time was changed without clearly informing the athletes, causing several wrestlers to miss weight. The most notable was Yoel Romero, who came in 3 kilograms overweight. This led Bo Nickel to refuse to wrestle a 50-year-old man, somehow making fans dislike him even more.
I unfortunately won't be competing tonight at RAF 05. Really bummed about it, but Yoel was not able to make weight.
He likely regretted that decision the next day when Romero, who looked like a superhero against Pat Downey, was completely dominated by NCAA champion Stephen Buchanan.
And he wanted to compete tonight. Wow.
The event as a whole was excellent. We saw a rematch of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic quarterfinal between Dake and Kadima Gomedov, which we previously covered. Giorgio, the man who offers $1,000 to anyone who can take him down, destroyed Moxie after backstage tension last month. We also saw Bo, Zahid Valencia and Colby Covington, who easily finished Luke in the main event. And still, I don't understand how he remains ranked at 77 kg in the UFC. But the highlight of the night was Arman, who competed in his first official freestyle wrestling match against former NCAA champion and former WSOF and PFL featherweight champion Team Alpha Male legend Lance Palmer. It was terrifying how Arman finished him 10-0 in the first round.
He was doing it.
What is this position that Saruki is finding this front headlock? Oh, and can he put it away?
He's trying.
And he does it. And he just tagged John is that guy, and he's still.
Still, this has no impact on his UFC future. At best, he'll be sidelined until summer. All that's on his mind now is returning to wrestling, possibly against Chandler, who's high on his fantasies, and fighting McGregor at the White House.
I hope it's a Michael Chandler RAF.
Hoping for an injury or withdrawal from the UFC 324 main event.
I'm a non-official backup, so I'm here. If something happens, I'll jump in.
And eventually capturing the lightweight belt.
With the belt, I'll take a tour around the world, and then I gotta walk with the belt from end of Russia to the different end. After belt, I want to rest maybe 1 month.
Most importantly, even if he hasn't been told directly, he now knows the real reason he isn't part of UFC 324.
It's probably headbutt, pull out from the title fight,
And while things can't get much worse for him, I fear the UFC may start restricting its fighters from competing in wrestling events, which would rob him of his only way to stay active. So far, Arman has handled being pushed out of the lightweight title picture in the best possible way, generating more buzz than the actual main event fighters, Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje. He's done that by competing in jiu-jitsu and wrestling, joining live streams like Aiden Ross, and giving countless interviews. After appearing with one Jew last week in Miami, he arrived in New York days later for another interview with yet another one Jew, for the first time appearing in Ariel Helwani's studio. In that long interview, the most notable points were understanding Dana's decision, but suspecting a conspiracy behind it.
Because it's a first Paramount fight, and second one, I'm too dangerous that I pull out from my fight, from the title fight. I did a headbutt on the hooker. It's their opinion. You know?
Sure.
My opinion, just it's they want Paddy Pimblett to be a champion.
Admitting he struggles to control his anger, especially in the first 5 seconds.
First 5 seconds.
Wanting a BMF title fight if Ilia's return is delayed.
But maybe BMF title.
Okay.
So we'll see.
You don't want that, right? You want the real title.
Yeah, I want a real title, but I don't want to wait until the end of the next year. And then Ilia, he fights once a year.
Dismissing rumors of Gaethje's staph infection.
When these pictures showed up last week of like a thing on his neck, did you inquire about it? Did you?
No, if something real happened, they never gonna post.
Confirming he did not miss weight at UFC 311.
Like Dana, think until now, I think that it was a weight issue, but it wasn't a weight issue. If they want, I can show you my MRI if they wanted to know like what happened real.
Saying his withdrawal against Islam was a turning point in his career.
First, it was a pullout.
You think that was the turning point?
Yeah.
You think that made you popular?
Yeah, I was popular when I pull out.
Why?
Explaining why people think he's Muslim due to his Dagestani look.
When I came first time in American Top Team, he always like he thought I'm a Muslim. Assalamu alaikum, Jim. Oh, inshallah, we're gonna win this fight. I said yes. What can I do? It's like good words, you know.
Of course, yes.
And one day he came and said, "Bro, like I don't understand. Are you Christian?" I said, "Yeah, like."
And confirming that whenever Arman is around, you need a lot of food. He even appeared on another live stream with Neon, one of the most brainless social media personalities.
What do you think?
No, this is...
Huh? Are you serious? I look... This is shit.
With all these appearances, I can't help but wonder, when does he find time for his wife and daughters? After the announcement 2 nights ago, I genuinely think we've reached a point where Dana needs to step down, focus on boxing, and let Ari promote Hunter Campbell into leadership. The announcement we were hyped for turned into the worst fight announcement I've ever heard. Not because of the fight itself, just because of how it was communicated. It was incredibly frustrating and showed zero care for fighters or fans. If Dana wants to stay, he needs to put in more effort.
If you don't like it, don't watch it.
But unfortunately, he's not going anywhere.
I have been extended.
For how long?
That's a good question. You know, 5 years? Another 5-year extension.
Ironically, he blocked Arman from a title fight to avoid instability at the first Paramount event, only for Kayla Harrison to withdraw due to injury. So the debut event collapses, despite the company paying $7.7 billion for his product.
Kayla Harrison's out. Co-main. You. Seriously? I'm the co-main. UFC 324! I'm the co-main!
And the worst part? We now know that the Apex, like Dana, isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
What's up, everybody? Happy 2026. So as we go into the new year, the home of the Contender Series, the home of some fight nights, the home of Zuffa Boxing, UFC BJJ, will now be called the Meta Apex. We've done a 5-year deal with Meta. So welcome to the new Meta Apex.